So now here comes Disney Pixar getting in early on the millennials now really run the pop culture economy for the foreseeable future discourse that's likely to hit like a nuke over the next cycle, with maybe the most niche mid-2000s coded movie concept anyone could have come up with. What if Avatar 1 and Over the Hedge were the same movie? And yeah, Hoppers, which apparently the mouse knows is good because they showed it to critics like 2 whole weeks ago, and the only reason you're only hearing about it from me now is because my screening got canceled out by a blizzard. Please hit up those subscribe, like, Patreon, Ko-fi links, folks. It's a struggle out here. Yeah, Hoppers is about a girl named Mabel who loves animals and wildlife, and specifically this one piece of wetland that was her grandma and her's favorite spot when she was little, but now evil local government and business guys want to bulldoze it for capitalism, but maybe she can make them stop if she can get animals, specifically beavers, because that's a keystone species, don't question it. It's not that kind of movie to repopulate the area because it's been suspiciously abandoned by the wildlife. She discovers that some wacky scientists at her university have invented technology to temporarily zap their brains into robot animal bodies for research, so she hijacks a robot beaver to go look for other beavers to make this right, and discovers a whole local animal society that's very different from how we'd assume such a thing might be organized. And while she's there, she makes some new friends, initially gets very close to accomplishing her actually pretty reasonable goals, but she inadvertently sets off a chain reaction of events that spirals into a big comedy of errors disaster that she has to set right and learns lessons from, and then it gets almost sad but not too sad, and almost dark but not too dark, and it's actually honestly refreshingly low stakes even if most of the characters don't realize it or act like they don't realize it. Also, the bad guy is this smarmy, phony, American Psycho-looking, fake slick politician who pretends he's nice, but he's being shady about what happened with the animals, and it really kind of feels like he's supposed to be Gavin Newsom of all people, and I guess that's the flip side of what happens when you're the governor of a state where all the movies and TV gets made. So yeah, you do get a crazy bigger media profile head start on everybody else who's going to run for president someday, you know, because you can walk down the street to any news or talk show. But also, if comedy writers or animators got a bone to pick with you, they can just be banking those jokes for years before anybody else has heard of you, and that's kind of funny to me. I mean, like, this isn't a classic Pixar villain or anything. He's more like one of those douchebag bad guys who needs to get bullied a little bit by the funny animals so he learns to act right by the end, but I kept watching this thinking, oh, I definitely think that's him, because Pixar is hardcore Bay Area, so there's a lot of people out there who probably want to throw some gentle cartoon shade at Governor Podcast, and now they're shooting their shot. You know, not necessarily like in a go-to-hell dude way, but in a, dude, what are you doing hanging out with Ben Shapiro way? Anyway, yeah, this is a straight, solid, super cute family comedy, easily the second best beaver-related movie I've seen in the last couple years. If I had a nickel, I'd have 2 nickels, but weird it happened twice. I'm not sure I'd say it's a classic Pixar movie, but I don't think it's fully aiming to be. In fact, it almost seems to be steering hard away from at any point being a deeper, more poignant thing than it could be at any given moment, almost as though a mandate had come down to beat studios like Illumination or DreamWorks at the straight-ahead, cheerful cartoon mayhem game and prove that Pixar can do the same sort of just-for-laughs material, but maybe a little better, just by dropping in the character work where it needs to be. Most of Hoppers is firmly on point for funny cartoon animals pulling faces, doing slapstick, saying funny stuff, broadly misunderstanding human things in amusing fashion, and reacting or being reacted to in funny ways, intersped with well-animated montage sequences set to familiar popular music, and then once it needs to, mainly once we pivot into a delightfully weirder and more dramatic third act than folks were probably expecting, it reminded me of seeing the first Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You know, where yeah, that was a good, wacky, fun movie with food comedy for the first half, and then in the back half it kicks in and goes, oh no, we're not just making fun of big-budget sci-fi action disaster movies, we're just gonna be one and maybe do it better. And here you get a pivot to, okay, this is the part of the silly, funny family animal comedy where things have to get a little serious so you care about the characters, but we're Pixar. That's the stuff we can do blind forward. Watch this stuff. And it really lands and you come out like, wow, the last 15 minutes or so of Hoppers did not have to go that hard, man, but I'm glad it did. That was the good shit. So it doesn't necessarily blow out that deep generational trauma lore and cultural resonance like a Turning Red, or get you thinking existential questions like the Toy Stories do, but it delivers much more than what's otherwise a cute movie about beavers making funny faces and telling animal jokes reasonably needed to deliver a good movie to take your kids to. 8 out of 10, go see it, have fun with it.